Hey there, it's Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com here today with two real quick and easy dollar store Valentine crafts. First up, I started with this little pickup truck door hanger. Super cute on its own, but I'm not huge into bright red and I'm not huge into glitter. So I just came in with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. I got it at Walmart and I just painted right over all of the red glitter on the body of the pickup truck. Super straightforward. I just used a 1/2-inch flat paintbrush and gave a good coat of coverage. The thing about this glitter texture is it kind of soaks up the paint and there's a lot more surface area to cover. So just make sure you get real good coverage, kind of paint around the edge of the body of the pickup truck and then fill in as you go. Next up, I decided I wanted to try and paint the hearts in the bed of the pickup truck. The problem was that the hearts didn't have that glitter texture, and so I wasn't getting as good a coverage in one coat or even two coats on the hearts that I wanted. So I kind of abandoned that and opted to go a different route. And I'm kind of glad I did because I think I like this better. But I just took a wide popsicle stick. They're from the craft section at the dollar store. And I used this Waverly antique wax. So I cut the end off, one end off the popsicle stick, and then I stained the wood with this antique wax. Use, whatever you want as far as wood stain. I just like using this tinted wax. I think folk art makes it. It's easier to work on small projects indoors without the fumes of wood stain. And then I just hot glued the popsicle stick in place so it was like a railing on the edge of the pickup truck bed. Then I decided I wanted to fill the whole back of the pickup truck with silk flowers. And I kind of placed some flowers in place and I realized, all that red and pink from those hearts was gonna kind of poke through the gaps between the flowers. So I came back and finished painting basically all of the hearts. And it didn't have to be like perfect coverage, just enough so that you didn't have red poking through and it wouldn't like look funny. But I used Waverly chalk paint. I think this is Silver Lining. It's just the lightest gray color. You could use white paint. It really doesn't matter. It's just so that there's a neutral background behind all the flowers. And then at the same time, I used a 1/4-inch flat paintbrush and more Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant to paint over the hearts on the tires because I just wanted to make everything super neutral and get rid of all of that red. And then while all that paint was drying, I went ahead and gave another coat to the green pickup truck. At first I thought I was going to be able to get away with one coat of coverage, but as the paint dried and kind of soaked into the glitter surface, I realized that I needed to do a second light coat. So then let everything dry. I like to use my blow dryer on like the no heat setting to speed up the process if I'm in a hurry. And then it was time to add all the flowers. So I just bought little tiny white flowers from the dollar store. You could get, at your craft store. You could use any type of flower that you wanted and just hot glue them in place on that bed of the pickup truck. And then it was time to embellish with little metal letters. So these are from the Dollar Tree. It's a 3-pack of these metal letters, and I decided that the XOXO one looked the best with the scale of the truck and the size of the letters and everything. And I could have just hot glued these in place, but I wanted to add a little bit of dimension. So I grabbed this roll of foam adhesive tape. So it's kind of thicker. It's from the dollar store. And I just kind of put a couple pieces on the back of those metal letters and then stuck it right onto the pickup truck. And this way, that metal XOXO thing kind of raises up and it's a little bit more three-dimensional this way. finally, as a final touch, I just gave a quick coat of silver craft paint on top of those hearts and the tires. The reason why I didn't start with the silver paint is because it doesn't give complete coverage, so you need a solid, coat of something more opaque, like the gray paint behind it, before you go with the metallics. And then second up, I grabbed this little love hanging cardboard sign. It's a really thick cardboard, and I gave it a full coat of Mod Podge. I was pretty generous here, and I actually went back and did like a second coat. And then I grabbed this wood grain paper and I flipped the love over onto the back of the paper, and I smoothed it all down. I made sure everything was super smooth, and then I just set it down with a book on top of it for like 20 or 30 minutes. You don't need to let it dry that long. And then it was time to trim away all of that excess scrapbook paper. So I'm gonna apologize right now because you're gonna see the back of my head, and there's just no way around it the way I filmed this. I'm sorry. And the reason why is I think the best way to trim the paper away is when you have an exact bird's eye view of what you're cutting, because you want to cut exactly right along the edge of that cardboard. So I used my pen blade, which I use on all of my projects, but you guys can use a razor blade or whatever you want, but I'll link to the pen blade in the comments that I really like using. Then you want to just trim away on your cutting mat right up against the edge of that cardboard. Now, if you get too close, you're going to end up cutting some of the cardboard with it, and that gets really messy and it's kind of a pain. So that's why you want to look like straight overhead and trim exactly on the edge. And then I just finished this off with a little bit of ribbon and some fake leaves. So I had my black and white check ribbon because y'all know it's not a craft project unless I use black and white check ribbon. So I cut a long length of the ribbon and I made it into a figure 8. And then you pinch it at the center and then secure it with a shorter cut of ribbon and a simple knot in the back. It's the quickest, easiest way to make kind of a lazy girl bow. Then just trim away the excess from that knot in the back. And then, here I had to switch out my scissors because those scissors are dull and I need to get them sharpened. But just cut a 45-degree angle on the end of the tails of the bow. And then I just grabbed this like sprig of green faux leaves. I think I got them at Hobby Lobby. I don't remember, I'm sorry. And I just ripped off 2 little sections of them. And then you want the leaves to face in opposite directions, like away from each other. And then just hot glue them onto the top of that O on the sign. And then pop that ribbon bow right into the center of the leaves. You guys, that's it. 2 super easy, super quick little Valentine Dollar Tree decorations in a more neutral color palette. I displayed these on the shelf in our living room. These would be a great addition to like a big wreath on your front door or on a mantle or your coffee bar or whatever. Sky's kind of the limit. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, happy making.